Hello, ladies and gentlemen. What is the story? Welcome back to the Switch X podcast. I don't know what that was. That was just a weird little thing I decided to do for the crack. We're doing another interview podcast with this one. Not an interview, another guest. Let's say another guest. We have Bubba Shakespeare in the building. So we're going to get to him in a couple of minutes. Just wanted to thank everyone again for coming in and listening. What's going on? Are you doing well? Hope you're keeping well. I'm fucking doing good. I started painting. I'm covered in paint. I started painting. I started painting my jeans. I never painted before. Could never do it. Was never good at it either. Or drawing. Only in school. Like, that was like the only time I really did it. But I wanted to start, so I said, fuck it. And I spent a fortune on a lot of paints and brushes and scrapbooks and stuff. So now I'm going to start painting. Yeah, that was pretty much the only interesting thing that happened to me this week, I suppose. I've no stories to tell you or nothing. This is just a little introduction before the old guest comes on, so what I'm going to do is me and Bubba are going to have a little conversation for maybe an hour or so. And for those of you that want to stick around at the end, I'm going to read out a little short story that I wrote in my brain on a page. It's 800 words. One of them that I wrote anyway for the crack. So yeah, let's get straight into it. This is Go on, Bubba, what were you saying there?
I was saying, how are you keeping it? How's it going?
What is going on, Bubba?
There's many things, by a lot of things.
Yeah, you doing good? Keeping well?
I am, by.
What have you been up to, man?
I have been pretty much just writing a lot and exercising, committing myself to victory, by.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All over that shit. I seen you on Facebook, alright, by your man in the gym.
I'm going for it.
Yeah?
100%.
How long you doing it now?
About 2 months now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What was your goal going into it? Did you want to like lose weight? Did you want to gain muscle? What was the crack?
I wanted to lose me belly.
Yeah?
I had a little
Bear belly.
A little beer belly, by. I was like, no, this is not the vision I have for myself. I said I got to change that now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Jeez. Starting to get no bear belly now myself. I've never been to a gym before.
Nah.
Nah, I was never even inside one.
I'll tell you, man, the first week, it's a challenge to just keep going.
I'd say so.
The second week is still a little bit of a challenge. The third week, something just clicked, you know? It was like, okay. And then on the fourth week, you can see changes, and I've seen changes, and I'm like, that's it now, I'm committed.
Yeah.
That's it now, like.
You can't yeah. If you're going into a gym, I'd say like you have to have it can't be like you can't go in there like thinking I'm gonna be fucking Hulk Hogan when I get out of this.
Yeah.
You have to go in there with the whole like, no, this is something now that's gonna help me and this is gonna take a while.
Yeah.
But I have to stick to it. That's my problem.
I tried it before and things kept happening where I just stopped going. But this time, I've gotten really into
fucking ghosts.
ghosty.
I might go out and close that door actually.
Alright.
Keep on talking there. I'm gonna go close the door.
Alright, so I got into the old Nichiren Buddhism, and it says choose victory every day. So Lloyd has gone out to close the door there, so we'll fill the space, and the old door is closed now. So you know yourself.
I'm back.
He's back now again. How are you keeping?
Technical difficulties.
I'm sure
Right.
it is all good, so it is.
Right, sorry.
You're the finest.
What were you saying there, Bubs? I missed that. I had to close the door.
I was saying that I've started getting into Nichiren Buddhism.
Oh, no, you're gonna have to explain this to me now.
So Nichiren Buddhism is a form of Buddhism that believes you can become enlightened in your lifetime.
Okay.
And you practice it every day. You do a thing called gongyo, and you do daimoku. So it's
And what are they?
essentially they're chants.
Okay.
So you every morning you'll do as long as you want, as long as you want, you just sit and do myoho renge gyo, myoho renge gyo, myoho renge gyo.
That's fucking annoying.
And it takes discipline to do it,
Okay, yeah.
When I first started, same as the gym now, when I first started it was difficult because my mind was like, oh, just stop,
Yeah.
like this is boring.
Yeah.
And then after a while it clicks as well, and you start to see the benefits come through your life as well, and you start to have an inner change. They call it an inner revolution.
Okay.
So if you would consider your inside garden,
Right.
and let's say there's loads of weeds in your garden, but you haven't been tending to your garden. Every morning you chant, you're actually tending to your inner world.
Right.
So you're pulling out the weeds, and first you put out the weeds and the place looks a state. So that means if you feel a state, you can feel like a state.
Yeah, you feel horrible, like.
So what you have to remember is that you're pulling out the weeds so you can plant flowers.
Right, okay.
And then you plant the flowers, and then every day you chant again, you have to consider it you're watering the flowers. So then you got to understand that you're in the process of growth. So
Nice.
you're growing your inner world.
Yeah.
And with that, then it changes how you respond to the world. And then that just makes you want to say that it's the philosophy of cause and effect.
Right.
So for every effect, there's a cause. And every cause that you have creates an effect.
Right, okay. That's
So
really fucking interesting. Go on, carry on, sorry.
no, you're fine. And so essentially, it's like every action that you take has a response.
Yeah.
And how you respond to events in your life will determine the next effect.
Mhm.
So if you can catch yourself in situations, like patterns that you might become aware of. For me, for instance, I would have found myself in the pattern of being left out
Okay.
or feeling left out. So that would mean that I'd end up in situations where I would get left out.
Okay.
And then with this chant, the wisdom arrives where it goes, I see why this is happening now. This comes from my inherent childhood belief that I'm not worthy of friendship. Okay.
Right.
So
Okay.
I got to respond to this with compassion and wisdom.
Right.
So rather than responding as a victim, oh, this is unfair, this is not fair,
Yeah.
you respond with, okay, this happened, but I'm going to turn this around. I can change this. And then I would sit down and chant about it. And then the right...
So you just think about whatever is going bad or whatever, that's what you think about. You think about feeling left out and whatever, and then you chant this while you're thinking about it, is it? Is that kind of how you do it?
No, you set your intention, essentially. So I'll write it down.
Yeah, okay.
It's different as well every day. Or depending on what it is you want out of life too. The last chant I did, I was chanting to be my better self. So it's like, just give me the wisdom to be my better self, and to maintain that and to be consistent with being my better self, one day at a time.
That's fucking cool, boy. Fair play to you, boy.
Yeah, it really helps. It really helps.
There's no way there's no way I could do that. There's no way I could do that. I was just talking there in the introduction there about me fucking painting. I think that's it's very fucking calming, boy. It's 100% like a fucking, like a meditative state, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like flowing with like with the way your arm like flows with the brush, and then just watching the colours as they form, like, you know, it's really cool to even just watch it, like.
But that's the creativity itself, isn't it? When you lend yourself to any form of creativity, you're moving beyond yourself.
Yeah.
You know, without sounding waffly, like, but you're just in the moment, I guess.
Mhm. And what was the other one then? Did you say that was there was two?
Oh yeah, so gongyo then is you're.
What was the name of the first one again?
So gongyo is the one I haven't spoke of yet, but the other one is called daimoku.
Daimoku. Okay. Okay.
And gongyo then essentially is you're just reciting some of the Lotus Sutra.
What's that? What's the Lotus Sutra?
The,
Jeez.
the Lotus Sutra then is the teachings of Buddhism, and as well, right? You don't have to understand it because it's in Sanskrit and Japanese.
All right. Okay.
So you don't have to understand it, because myoho renge essentially is it's a vibration itself, and it's the mystic law of cause and effect.
Is there an English translation for what you're saying?
Yeah.
What is it?
So the direct English translation is, I dedicate myself to the mystic law of cause and effect.
Ah, right. That's okay. Fair enough. Okay. Was that
Yeah.
what you were just explaining?
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. No, this is good because at the next Buddhist meeting, I have to explain Namyoho Renge-kyo. So
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Go on. Cool.
it's
This is gonna be a little practice for you.
it's good practice. So essentially, my understanding of it is everyone has their own level of being able to understand it and being able to communicate that. And my understanding of it on an energetic level is that it's a vibration. So the sound of it is a vibration.
Yeah.
And with that vibration, and then your intention, which is also a vibration, you're creating that intentional vibration. You get me?
Yeah. Okay.
You're creating that energy, and you don't even have to know how it works, because it's a mystic law.
Yeah, it's out there already. Like
It's the way it was described in the book I was reading was that it's like gravity. You know, gravity existed and worked before people could even explain it scientifically.
yeah,
So just because it wasn't explained scientifically didn't mean it didn't exist, and
100%.
didn't mean it didn't work. But ever since I've started chanting this, my life has changed an awful lot.
that's fascinating, man. How did you get into the whole Buddhism thing?
I was always interested in it.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I was very Catholic.
So aren't we all?
I know, yeah.
Stupid fucking thing.
I know. Oh, I did an interview for a radio show back home one time, and I was talking about Jesus, and I was about 16, 17.
Yeah.
I heard it there a while back. I was so cringy, boy.
We thought about how much you loved him.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus. Jesus.
It's cute, like, but
It
it's cringy, like, you know.
It was after my confirmation I lost interest in the whole Jesus.
I was like, oh no.
After my confirmation, but I remember walking out of it. It just went on for so fucking long. It was nearly 3 hours long.
What?
Yeah, I remember. Either it was or else that was just in my fucking head. I remember now, like, this is fucking 6th class, like, and I remember I just walking out and turning to my mum being like, "Ma'am, I'm never going to mass again," and I didn't ever.
Speaking of mass, someone tweeted yesterday. I was in stitches. Did Hosier ever get that lift to mass?
Take me to church, huh?
Did he ever get there, I wonder?
Take me to church. Yeah. So how did you get into it anyway? We've been completely off topic there.
Anytime I was doing comedy sets, I was talking about being a confused Buddhist.
Right. Okay.
And my misinterpretations of Buddhism and my misinterpretations of being a Westerner.
Right,
You know,
okay.
essentially being a semi-conscious human being who's confused all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my friends actually came. This guy that I know from, I used to just see him about, like, his name was Brian, and I just said, "Oh, I'm doing a show tonight. Want to come?" Like, so he came along, and then he heard me speaking about being a confused Buddhist, and he enjoyed it. And he goes, "You know that there's a Buddhist meeting tomorrow night in the city?" I was like, "No." He goes, "Yeah, it's actually in your apartment block." I was like, "Oh."
So fucking weird how shit like that works out, man.
I was like, "All right, sir." Man, I swear to God, I'll tell you this, right? I'll tell the truth as well. I was in the depths of gambling addiction then, right?
Mm.
And I couldn't get my way out of it. I couldn't understand why I couldn't stop.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't that I felt shitty about myself. It was just a thing that
you felt grand in yourself, but it was just this gambling thing was over your shoulder.
it just wouldn't stop. I couldn't figure it out.
Like a gorilla that's pulling onto your chest,
And he's just too powerful.
squeezing, yeah.
and no matter what you say, even if you say to the gorilla, "I love you, gorilla, leave me alone," mate. He's like, "No." Like, "Fuck you." I'm like, damn. But I went to the first meeting, right, and everybody was chanting together, and it was so beautiful. It just resonated with me and made me feel like I can overcome this. So my friend told me then, like, he goes, "Look, if you're interested in it, man, just do chant every morning with your intention." I was like, "All right." He goes, "Just test it and see how it works." So for about 2 weeks, I chanted for half an hour in the morning with the intention of overcoming the addiction. And after about 2 weeks, it brought a lot of understanding to my attention.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, there's a lot in it, you know, so it brought a lot of my issues to the surface for me to understand without me responding to them. And one day I woke up and it was like, "Hey bro, you've been filling the void for such a long time. You're filling a void. That's why you do this. You're filling a void, and your life is devoid of joy. You gotta open up that space, and it's not a void anymore. It's a space."
Nice one.
I'm like, "Okay, but you gotta fill that space with joy and creativity."
Not the dark shit.
And I was like, okay, I'll do that. So I had like in addiction, you would spend a lot. You might know yourself, like you spend a lot of time isolated because that's what you get in your head. You get in your cycle. You end up alone all the time. And like then you lose your shit. So I thought, okay, I'll do this. And I just woke up that morning. I said, all right, today I'm going outside and I'm staying outside all fucking day. That's it. Yeah. And I'm going to talk to everybody I meet, and I'm going to like tell them all nice things, and I'm going to be just joyous. I'm going to be the me I was before the shit took over. Like,
I definitely see the similarities between the addiction and my own fucking depression and anxiety and shit.
Yeah,
just being fucking stuck in your room, like doing nothing, just thinking about shit. And boy, once I started like fucking like painting now and writing short stories and whatever, and going out and doing things, boy.
That's
you
it.
know what I mean? Just going out and doing things. That's what I was talking about there. On a couple of weeks ago on the podcast as well. That I just started like doing things on my own. Do you know what I mean? Like realizing that I don't need to have someone with me all the time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That it's okay to go and do things. Like going to a fucking restaurant on my own. Like I never fucking did that before. But I fucking did it, like, do you know what I mean? And even like going in, it was fucking weird because I was like, oh shit. No, I'll tell you a better one actually. It was I wanted to go somewhere and read a book, right? That's what I wanted to do. Because I started reading as well. I never read before. So I was like, fuck it. So I went down to Murphy's Rock, the local pub.
Go on, boys.
And went in there and got a fucking glass of whiskey. And just sat down and read the book. I remember going in there first by just thinking like, oh shit, when I walk in here now, everyone's going to be looking at me. I'm going to be sitting here and people are going to be like, what the fuck is Lai doing over there drinking on his own? What's he doing?
Look at him over there on his own with a book.
I know, yeah. What fucking weirdo is this thing? But I wasn't, like, you know what I mean? No one fucking looked at me. It was grand, like.
It's all in our heads, isn't it? Yeah.
It's fascinating, like.
Someone said something to me about that before. When you are caught up in yourself, you think the whole world is looking at you, judging you, but really it's just yourself judging you.
Yeah.
You know?
That's what it is, like, because it's all in your fucking head, like.
Yeah.
Brain is a dangerous thing.
I'm in the what I've come to realize through all of this is that I'm an incredibly social human.
Yeah.
And the source of all of the source of the ways about me come from childhood, not feeling valid and not feeling secure in myself, and not getting positive attention. Because I got nothing but negative attention when I was a kid, you know.
Yeah.
So the stage for me was a way to be valid. And when I began the journey with the stage, the first couple of gigs or the first couple of years, it was all about me getting attention.
Yeah.
And then I grew with that, and it turned into, no, the first step, right, was how do I shift an old dog?
Okay.
Now, I'll be really honest, because it's a journey and a process.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to call them the sex-based gigs, right?
Right, okay.
But now what I actually would like to call them is the validation-based gigs.
Ah, nice one.
Looking for my worth outside of myself-based gigs.
Yeah, okay.
So those were the gigs where I didn't even realize at the time, but everything I was doing was to be more attractive.
Yeah.
And you would get loads of confusing messages then from women from that, because you know you create that yourself from the very beginning.
Yeah.
So those gigs, they were great fun, and I had good times. But then I kind of realized one day, wait, I got to make all the guys in the audience feel as comfortable as I make the women feel. I can't be leaving them out.
Yeah.
So
we're all the BOs dancing and all the fellas looking at you weird.
Yeah, but then I realized as well though, I was only giving my attention to the women.
Oh, okay.
For many reasons, like one, because I needed the validation, but second of all, it was just easier because they were given the attention first as well.
Yeah.
Because for whatever reason, women are more inclined to come out and dance.
100%.
So I felt more comfortable, and I grew up around a lot of women all the time, so I just think I was very comfortable in women's presence anyway.
Yeah.
More so than male presence or whatever. But then I decided I have to make the men my friends too, and I started speaking to the men more than the women, and then it turned into now I can speak to everybody, and now it's turned into I'm not looking for validation anymore, I'm giving it.
Yeah.
And those gigs are so, and now where it is with it, it's so much more fulfilling and easier, because I'm not trying to get anything, or there's no outcome, there's no negative outcome.
Yeah.
The only
You're more doing it now to spread the love rather than to gain it for yourself.
Exactly. And then as well, like in the past, if I didn't score after a gig, or if I didn't meet anybody in a while, I'd be totally insecure and messed up.
Would you feel like shit? Like,
I'd like it used to be very difficult to go from being the center of attention to a home on your own.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know that feeling.
And I kind of had an identity crisis with that for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. It's like so when I'm on stage, right, women are looking at me and they'd be following me around and taking photos of me and fucking saying all this random like, I love you, you're so beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
But why doesn't that happen in my everyday life? So
Yeah.
it gets confusing.
Yeah.
It's like, who am I? Like,
Yeah. It's yeah.
am I attractive or am I not attractive? What the fuck? Am I good enough or am I not good enough? You know, 1 minute they're following me around, the next minute I can't get someone to go on a date. You know,
Yeah.
what's going on here? Or sometimes, what I used to experience is like, the girl will be into you, but just for that night.
Yeah.
You know, and then you message them and there's no response, and you're like, what was that about?
I know. It's weird, are they?
And you start thinking like, are they only into me because I'm on stage? What about my values as a human? And then it makes you look at yourself and go, well, what am I doing here in this situation? You know?
Yeah.
What am I doing to create this? I'm responsible for my own experience of life here. Come on now.
Fuck, this is my fault.
Oh, one thing though, with this Nichiren Buddhism, there's no blame or shame.
Oh, okay.
There's only cause and effect.
Mm-hmm.
So, because with blame and shame, you know, you can get insecure and feel sad and negative, and which are okay if you need to go through that stuff. But with the understanding of cause and effect, it's like, no, I've created this cause, and this is the effect of the cause.
Yeah.
I've come here seeking validation, and I've got the validation. But I didn't come here seeking a deep, meaningful connection. So of course I'm not going to get that. So that's the cause, and this is the effect of the cause. You're also in two minds about who you are as a person. You're not sure, are you enough or not?
Yeah.
Therefore, of course you're going to get the girls who are into you but not into you, or kind of into you, or into you for that night, because they're reflections of how you actually feel on the inside. So you gotta go tend your own garden, bro. You gotta pull out those weeds.
I love that.
Yeah.
That is a beautiful description.
It's cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
very good.
There's another saying in it is, turn your poison into medicine.
Turn your poison into medicine.
So take all your poison and turn it into medicine.
Nice one. Take that gambling and turn it into Calpal.
Exactly. Like everything from the gamble, that all the negatives, you can turn them into so many positives.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, what's life but a series of things that are thrown at you to overcome.
Yeah, life is shit, like, it's hard.
It is, like, and that's the nature of it, and that's what connects us all together. Then my experience of the gambling is you experience losing every 3 minutes.
Every 3 minutes.
So imagine you've lost every 3 minutes for about 6
winning
hours.
once a month.
But imagine losing every 3 minutes, 7 days a week for about 10 years.
Oh, fuck me, man.
You'd be very good at losing.
Damn.
You get very good at it.
Yeah, you get fucking used to it.
That's it. Like, actually, that's a very good thing. You get used to it and you expect it.
It turns into routine.
Yes, exactly. And then you'd always wonder. People wonder why'd you keep going back then? You know,
because you get yourself so used to losing. Once you win, like even a small amount, that is just gonna make you the happiest man in the world for like 10 minutes.
Exactly.
Because you're gonna spend it all.
It's gone again.
You're gonna lose it all in 3 minutes. Like, do you know what I mean? Fucking hell.
There was a time I was in the bookies, right, and there was a fiend, and it's really funny. There's a pattern that turns up, right, where it's seconditis. Every horse you back comes second, you know.
Okay.
And it's very common, you know. And once you notice it, and you know you're in that day, you're not having a good day, like.
No.
Yeah, you're not having a good day, like. But there was a fiend beside me one day, and he was like, "Fucking second again, like fucking second again, like this is fucking stupid, fucking useless." And in my mind, I was like, "Wow, that's exactly what I do, And that is so ridiculous. From the outside, I'm watching this man, and he's giving out about a fiend sitting on a horse who he has no connection with, because he's blaming the guy on the horse for him not winning money, when really all he had to do was not put the money on it and recognize that he's in the second-lightest day.
100%.
And he just has to walk away. He just has to get out. And I'm like, yeah, why don't you fucking get out? Shut up. But I took it on as a challenge. I was in there one day, right? And I was like, if I'm going to be this guy right now, I got to find some value in it. I need to figure stuff out. I need to use it to better myself as well.
Mm-hmm.
And not just let it define me as doom and gloom. And you get very annoyed when you're losing, right? And you're very kind of angry. So whatever anger you have stored in you from childhood comes up. So it's the perfect place to see what you're angry about, or how much anger you have in you. So I'm angry anyway. And there was this lovely old woman, harmless old woman. And whenever I was losing, she used to annoy me, you know. But I said to myself, if I can lose and still be kind to that woman, I'm winning.
Yeah.
And I did get to a point where I remember one day I lost everything, and I just gave her a hug.
Fucking hell.
You know?
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a little victory right there, like, you know?
Yeah.
Another
The human connection is a funny thing, isn't it?
Well, it's the most important.
Yeah.
You know? Like, the opposite to addiction is connection, I feel.
I love giving hugs.
Me too, man. Hug life, bite.
Yeah. I've come across a couple of people who don't like hugs.
But that's alright too,
It's
though.
weird.
It is, but it's just where people are.
I know. But I want to give you a hug, and then if you don't like taking hugs, then it's just like, oh, exactly. That's exactly what it is, man.
I used to give hugs, right, without thinking about it, and one day I had a very negative reaction.
Yeah.
And I thought, why was that now? And it was like, well, I didn't respect that person's place. I didn't inquire. You know, I didn't ask first.
Yeah.
You know, not that I'm trying to kill somebody.
It's just a fucking hug.
It's just a hug. But some people just aren't able. Like,
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I suppose.
And that's
Catch a fiend walking out of a bookies like after losing fucking every 3 minutes and go up and try and give him a hug and watch the slap in the face you get.
He'd be like, come here, go away from me, give me your wallet, mate.
Give me your shoes.
Give me your wallet and I'll give it back to you empty in 3 minutes. Some days you want to just walk into the bookies and give them your wallet straight away.
Just take that at me. Try it on a couple of horses.
It's less painful. Here, just take it now, it's fine.
Take it on.
Oh, go on, I'll avoid the pain.
Might win something.
Avoid the pain.
Come here to me.
What's happening?
What made you move down to
Cork City?
Cork, boy? When you were up in...
There was...
Was mean as shit.
Yes.
Yeah?
For me, anyway.
So... Was there a lot of farmers and Hurleys and you were in a corner with a lot of skinny jeans dancing?
Essentially.
Was it really?
In a sense. In a sense, yeah. I actually wrote a poem about that.
You're the only one I know from Nina, so that's kind of how I imagine it in my head. It's just a lot of boys with Hurleys and you just in the corner with skinny jeans dancing.
Dancing away, and they're like, look at him, boy. Who do you think he is? Fucking idiot, boy.
Well, anyway, keep on interrupting you.
No, you're fine, boy. Essentially, I felt like I just didn't belong there, you know. It was too small for me, and there was nothing really to do, and it was kind of boring. Like, I need to be creative, and I need creative people around me, and I need to feel adventure, and I need to become somebody.
Were you already probably obviously were, but like what were you doing at that stage? Were you rapping, singing?
I was rapping and singing, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was met with like a curiosity. And also, who the fuck do you think you are? You're food.
Yeah.
You know?
That's still around.
And it's not as big as it used to be, though.
Nah. I think people are just... they're more open to Irish hip-hop now than what they were a couple years ago.
Well, they have no choice because it's a genuine art form, like.
Mm-hmm. You know, and there's so many people doing it now.
It's a normal thing now. And that's amazing, like. Nearly every second person has a verse. That's class.
100%, yeah.
Yeah.
Even people you wouldn't even expect it from, like.
Even like when I'd be walking down the street, sometimes the little fiends would be like, Bubba, give us a rap, yeah. And like in the past, when I used to ask them to rap, they'd all be like, oh, I don't have a verse.
Yeah.
And now you ask them, but like nearly all of them have.
Sick.
It's class.
That was definitely one of the best things for me about doing the workshops with Gary. I was just watching the kids grow from like fucking not being able to ride a bear to fucking rocking a stage.
Beast in it, like.
Sick. It's really cool to watch. Go on anyway.
No, you're fine.
I'm going half that.
At one point, I thought I was the only rapper that existed in Ireland, right?
I think we all feel that, because I felt that as well.
I thought, like, where's my clan? Who's my crew? Like, where's my clique? You know what I mean?
Where's my Wu-Tang?
Like, I don't fit in here.
Nina!
Like, come on, Nina, cuz. I mean, I love it because I grew up there, and I love it because it made me who I am. And it's part of my journey and part of the process, and very valuable, because without it, I wouldn't have my understandings or my ways, and without the insecurity of childhood, I wouldn't become a secure male adult. Like,
You wouldn't be you, man.
exactly. And because as I've come to understand, your shadow self or your sad negative self is just as necessary as your positive self, because it's part of the whole that makes you. Without the negative, what are you supposed to learn from? What are you supposed to stand for? What are you meant to strive for? And without the positive, then what do you gravitate to?
Yeah.
You know, so without it, you can't really become anything, can you? So it's very important. But essentially, I was mad into hip hop. I used to dress like a rapper, you know.
Yeah.
And kind of embarrassed about that as well. But
did you have a big gold chain?
I had like all the bling and the matching tracksuits and the matching hats, like, you know, and bright colours and all that stuff. And,
Nice one. The Fresh Prince of Nina.
that was it. I look like a dove, like. But, then I heard, actually. So what it was my buddy, who was mad into hip hop, gave me a CD, and it was an Irish rapper, and it was a Cork rapper. It was GMC.
GMC.
Right, and I didn't know his name, and he was like, "Oh, listen to this. Like, this is from Cork," and I heard it, and I was like, "Oh my god, there's another rapper. That's amazing." And I thought, I need to move to Cork, you know?
Yeah.
Because he
Instantly, it was like,
yeah,
I'm moving to Cork.
because my friend told me, he goes, "There's loads of rappers on there," and I thought, I want to go there. That's where I need to be.
I want to meet these rappers.
Yeah, I want to learn from them. I want to hang out with them. I want to rap, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. So I gotta go down there, and then I came down to go to college, and the funniest thing, my favorite song on the album was "Shooting Stars."
Shooting stars too.
Bigger cars too.
Best. Show tanto yo.
Go on, to cuz. So I was in a CSN at the time, right? And Brazzy was in CSN as well.
Shout out to Brazzy.
Go on, Brazzy kid.
He's over in Amsterdam now, fucking killing the comedy scene over there.
He's some fiend, boy.
He's a fucking legend and a lunatic.
But he took me under his
Love
wing.
him though.
He took me under his wing, right? And he said, he two things that he really helped me with. So one day I'm in his gaff and I'm rapping, and he goes, "Look, Bubba, nobody will work with you if you have an American accent." And I didn't realize I had an American accent.
Okay. Right.
And I thought, oh, okay, I didn't realize I had it. And he goes, yeah, he goes, "Don't worry, it's not uncommon. It just happens because that's all you've ever listened to."
Happens all the time.
I was like, fair enough. And then he goes, "So if you want to rap in your own accent, go home and speak it. Go home and speak it. Speak your raps until you can't do the American accent anymore." And I thought, okay. And I did it. And now I can't even put on the American accent.
No.
I'm like, alright, that's decent. But so that was
Sick.
one way he helped me. The second was, there was a show on in Savoy, and he invited me to come and rap at it.
Nice one.
And I went along, and I think I met Samir there as well.
Samir.
Yeah. And
Shout out to Samir.
what's
Samir's
Samir kid?
fucking
He's a legend, boy.
unreal.
And
Coming back. He's coming back soon. There's a tune coming soon.
I can't wait to hear it as well. But
Himself and Calabanks.
yeah, rocking it out, boy. So then this is where it gets funny, right? So I meet this Chinese fiend, this Cork Asian, and
Caucasian. Caucasian.
so we become good.
That's hilarious. Sorry, go on.
No, you're fine. So at this night, we're hanging out, and he goes, "Come on, boy, I'll give you a spin around." Like, and I was like, "Cool." So I'm sitting in the
Is
car.
this Anto?
This is Anto, yeah.
I only clicked that there. Go on.
So this is only my first ever time meeting him, do you know?
Okay, yeah.
And I'm pure excited, you know, because I just had done a show and here I am now hanging out with Anto, all right? But I
Yeah.
didn't know his connection to Gary. I didn't know this at all.
So you didn't realise, oh shit, you didn't realise this is the fiend that sang in Shooting Stars, like?
No, I didn't have a clue. So I'm just sitting in the car anyway, and we're chatting away. And then I just start singing, shooting stars too, the bigger cars too. And then Anto looks at me and he goes, where'd you hear that by? And I goes, oh, my buddy gave it to me. It's on a CD. It's on some fella called GMC's album. I said, that's my favourite song. It's my favourite chorus. And then he goes, that's me on the chorus, mate.
But how did you feel in that moment? But you must have been fucking...
I was like, what? Are you for real? I was like, how cool is that? Like, I was like, if that isn't magical, I don't know what is.
That's hilarious.
And then he goes, yeah, I know Gary, but I'll introduce you to him. Like, I was like, decent, bye. And then we went to a party and I was chatting away to Gary and I was like, this is really cool. Like,
Jesus.
this is amazing.
Yeah, because I was talking about as well the first time that I met Gary, and I was just completely starstruck, like when I first met him, like.
I was delighted to be in the presence of a rapper, like.
Yeah.
You know, especially an Irish rapper and someone who had a CD out as well. I was like, that is class.
Yeah, that was the thing. Like a fiend having a CD out, like, was fucking amazing. Like, I wish CDs were fucking as big as they were.
And as well, right, to be fair to Gary, when I met him, I had the American accent when I was rapping, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like, we all know that you have to be authentic. We get this, but sure, I didn't understand the concept at the time. So it put poor old Gary in an awkward position, right? Because here's this guy who'd come to Cork to meet other rappers and expressing his gratitude and appreciation to Gary, and then Gary's like, oh, he's got the American accent. You know what I mean? How do I go about this? Like, you know? And but he's such a nice fella. Any time I was chatting to him online or whatever then about tracks, he'd only ever point out my good singing.
Would he? He'd never say nothing about the American accent.
He said nothing about the American accent, but he would find things to praise me on.
Yeah. Okay.
And then offer little suggestions.
Nice one.
So he'd be like, geez, you've really grasped the use of the English language, or, oh, your voice is really good there. And I was like, all right, thanks. And then it was only when Brazzy said, you've an American accent, no one will fucking
Shout out to fucking Brazzy, man.
And I was like, oh, it all makes so much sense now.
Fuck yeah, right.
So I took that humble pie and I ate it.
Brilliant. Fucking brilliant. Yeah, no, that's fucking really cool, man. And what's the story with Clockworks then, boy? How did you end up singing for them?
That was actually through Gary as well.
Was it?
Yeah, Gary rang me and said there was a band looking for a singer, and that they were auditioning singers, like. So he sent me on the number. He said, I think you'd be good for that, like. So I rang them and I had an audition for them, and actually the week before they played at my sister's wedding.
Swear.
Yeah, and I went up and sang after them, do you know.
Sick.
And then when I went down to the audition, I was like, it was only when I got back home and I was looking at a video from my sister's wedding, I was like, that's the boys.
It's the same fucking band, yeah.
That's a synchronicity,
cool.
boy.
That's fucking cool.
And so then I got the job, and then I moved to Cork.
Nice one.
And it was one of the best things ever.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was the best thing ever to happen.
When you're, I've seen you on stage multiple times, and like I don't want to say this in a bad way. Like you always have fucking unbelievable energy, by like when you're fucking rapping and dancing and shit. But when you're on stage with Clockworks, by it's the best you perform, I think, ever.
Man, I feel it too.
Definitely, like
it makes 100% sense.
It was because I remember you performed at our grads, by, and people were talking about that like fucking for weeks after, like.
Class, man. That's class.
Because I don't know, by you're a fucking king on stage, man, with Clockworks, like you really are.
Thanks, man. It's really helped me hone my craft, or find so much comfort on the stage and
Yeah.
freedom. Yeah, I mean, it's really true because when I was in the depression, anytime I wanted to date somebody, I wanted them to come and see me play with Clockworks first. You know, because I felt like I had nothing else to offer. You know, I was like,
don't do anything else.
I know I'm kind of having an inner turmoil. So could you come and see me play, please, so you can see my better self. But I realize the issue with that is especially the issue with that is I think a lot of us, but I'll only speak for myself. I don't want to speak for everybody because I'm not an expert.
Yeah.
I'm just an expert in understanding who I am. So I find as an Irish man, it is very, very hard to express your vulnerability and feel like it's okay and feel like you'll still be liked.
Yeah.
So I kind of developed the inability to ask for help and also the inability to show how I really feel. If I'm disappointed, I'd be afraid to show it. If I'm sad, I'd be afraid. I'm talking about in front of a romantic partner now. I'd be afraid to. I would have been.
Okay. Yeah.
And I would have thought, like, you know, the man you have to be strong and mighty, and that's attractive.
The real man.
And that's
You
what
have to
it
be
is.
Eamon De Valera.
Eamon De Valera.
Your man's man, isn't he?
Go on, Eamon, bye. And that was to me, it was such a toxic way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Because it caused me an awful lot of turmoil.
No, that's bad, man. Yeah. I know, but that's just a fucking. That's just like a man thing too. Like, 100% like that. Like, you have to be the man. Like, you're not allowed to be sad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What are you doing crying? Does it be all crying? Go over and give her a hug. What the fuck are you doing crying?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's fucked up.
And I will say, and this isn't to blame or give out about anybody, but I've been really, really, really working on being an honest, authentic human, right? Not just a man, but just an authentic human being. Not afraid to show those things.
Yeah.
But in my experience, to date, in dating, I've dated some girls who have said, "Oh, I want a real man who will show his feelings,"
Mm-hmm.
and then you show your feelings, and they don't know what to do with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they run a mile,
Yeah.
and you're like, I thought you said it was okay for me to express my feelings, and now you've run a mile because you don't want a man who expresses his feelings. Then,
Yeah.
so that's confusing.
It's hard to be a fella, boy. It's hard to be a boy.
It is hard to be a bi.
It's hard to be a boy. Sounds like the fucking title of a novel.
It does, yeah.
It's hard to be a boy.
It's hard to be a bi.
It's hard to be a boy. Come here to me.
What's happening?
What's the story with the album, boy?
So it's
Understanding My Shadow, isn't it?
yeah,
That was
boy.
called.
So it was going to be an album, but it's a 6-track EP now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not an album anymore.
No.
Did you take some songs off it because you didn't like them, or what's the story? Because I know I'm fucking in the middle of Mother Nature there now, and I still don't know what the fuck to do with that.
I kind of thought it would have been too difficult to get a full album done because of flaky nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I thought, okay, we have 6 tracks, let's just do it. Let's put that out because I needed it to move forward, and I needed it for my self-esteem as well.
Yeah.
In my head was like, I need a project that I can be proud of and that I can show the world and that I can put all my focus into. And me turning my poison into medicine, it was, I'm going to take all of the suffering that I've gone through, all of the addiction, all of the feelings of not feeling like I'm good enough, and I'm going to put it into this, and I'm going to offer it to the world as a way to help men in particular, help women also, but just because I'm a man, I want to help men. Because I don't want to be the kind of man who tells women what to do when I'm a man.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be PC. I'm just I just want to help what I know.
Yeah.
And what I know is struggling as a man and addiction, and overcoming that.
It's you understanding your shadow, like.
Exactly. And offering that. And so it got to a point I was like, okay, 6 tracks, let's do it. Bang bang, that's it. Put it out. And in, I would say, 2 or 3 weeks time from now, it should be on Spotify.
Yeah. Fucking sick.
I can't.
And did Ashton make all the beats for it? Did
Yeah.
he produce everything?
He did, man. And and honestly, fair play to him, boy.
Yeah, fair fucks him, boy.
He put an awful lot of effort into
He's
it.
good. He's good, man. And like he hasn't been making beats long, from what I know.
I know, boy. And I broke his heart, like.
Could only imagine.
I broke his heart, boy. We'd be like, right, that song is done now. 2 days later, oh, I need to change this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's
That's
it
a
now.
fucking artist, yeah.
And then 2 days later, oh, I got to change this now as well. And then he sent me one finalized version of the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
And then I had a listening party, and we had to go back into the studio again.
Fuck's sake.
And I was like, oh, I'm sorry if I'm dragging the show. And it's like,
That's one thing I love about working with Gary, because like I'd be the same now. Like if me and him are working on a tune, and if he sent that, and if he fucking sends me the tune, then I'm constantly listening to it and being like, nah, to change this. So what he started doing is not sending me the songs anymore.
yeah.
So now he's just like fucking around with them until they're actually finished, and then he sends them to me, and I'm like,
like,
that's unreal, man.
Essentially, what I learned from making this EP as well is I still had a lot to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is the first time I actually sat down to put something out there and take it serious. I wasn't able to before because I was in addiction, and I know that, and I wasn't able to because it was holding me back, and I was afraid. I had to understand that I didn't feel good enough before I could feel good enough, and I didn't know that I didn't feel good enough, and I didn't know that I loved it so much that it scared me, you know.
Yeah.
And that also I thought to myself, if this is who you want to be, then you're not going to be that. That dream is too big.
Yeah.
You know, you're not good enough. Like, don't even bother. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't even do it. And I'm like, shut up.
Yeah, you have to stop thinking like that.
But
Negative thoughts are a horrible thing.
But that's the whole turning the poison into medicine thing.
Yeah.
So I've written a play as well called Understanding My Shadow. And
Tell me about that, man, because I've seen this on Facebook. I want to know about this play. Why? What's the crack? Is it finished? Is it finished written, like?
It is, yeah.
And what's the story? What are you doing with it?
So it's it ties in with the EP.
Okay.
So each scene happens before and after a track,
Right. Okay. Yeah.
and it's a conversation between light and shadow and myself.
Decent.
And it's the whole journey of trying to write the songs
Right.
and the struggle. And essentially what it is it's me trying to understand shadow,
Yeah.
and then light offering wisdom all the time, and I'm trying to understand shadow through it, and shadow is just resistant until a point.
Okay. Yeah.
I can give you an example of one of the scenes where it's like,
Go on. Yeah. Definitely.
I'll just freestyle it now because I don't remember it word for word.
Okay. Yeah.
So I say, I open the scene by saying, I really have to change my fucking life, boy. And then Shadow jumps in. Yeah? Don't even bother, boy. You're not good enough at all. You're a piece of shit, boy. That's what you are. Why don't you just gamble? Gamble? Your dream is too big, boy. You're never going to achieve it. It's too big. You're not good enough. You're just a skinny, ugly culture. What the fuck do you know? Who'd want to listen to you? Who the fuck do you think you are, you fucking useless cunt? Fuck the rent. Fuck your food. Fuck it. Just gamble. Maybe you'll win big and then you can buy your way to success. You useless bastard. I'm like, fuck you, Shadow. No, fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. And then Light will jump in and go, fuck nothing. No fucking guys, be gentle. And then he offers wisdom. So anytime that Light speaks, he's offering wisdom.
Yeah.
Anytime that Shadow speaks, he's trying to fuck shit up.
Shit, man. That sounds dark, man.
And then I'm sitting. No, it's actually funny. It's because I'm taking the piss as well.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it gets to a point where Light is describing is philosophical, right?
Right. Okay.
And he's philosophical and wise. So he's saying something along the lines of if you can remember impermanence, you will find an awful lot of value and freedom in the understanding of the nature of impermanence. And I go, okay, it's a bit heavy. And then Shadow goes, oh, I'm vulnerable, but I want to go fuck something.
That's fucking cool, man.
Yeah.
Man, that's fucking cool. And like, do you want to bring it to fucking stage, or
Yeah.
what's the story?
So the idea is that when I'm doing my launch,
Yeah.
it's going to be performed. I'm actually rehearsing it later on today.
Sick, man. That's a good. That's what I was thinking, man. While you were talking about it there, I was just thinking in my head, like, even after the launch, man, you could do like a little mini tour of that, man.
Well, that is the plan. That is the plan. And if it's not too dark enough, or maybe we'll have to write a version that we could do in schools as well and stuff. Although I'm not sure if
are you doing are you doing physical copies of the EP, or is it going to be all digital?
I don't know, because I realised the other day I don't have a CD player.
Yeah.
So I'd imagine many people don't have a CD player, like.
I actually don't either.
So where would they play a CD, like?
Fuck.
Do you know?
I don't know. I'm a bit of a weirdo. I just like having a CD.
Yeah, I like the idea of it too, but then what's the point, you know?
I know. Yeah, I suppose.
Like, I did say that I would give people CDs to people who sponsored my GoFundMe.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll do it for those people.
Even I was just thinking, man. What you could do is even like have the play like in as like a booklet in the CD.
That's a good idea.
So as people are listening to it, like they could like read along to the play.
That's
you know what I mean?
Or they could just have it for reading anyway.
Yeah.
There's a couple of ideas that I have of stuff I want to give to people at the show and all that as well.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a couple of little bits of merchandise as well.
Bubba t-shirts.
Yeah, with slogans.
Sick.
You know, like we're all class is just a journey to the Y.
Yeah.
And
you have to say life is class on one.
Life is class.
That's why on your gravestone.
Yes, go on, kid.
I'm gonna make sure that's on your gravestone. Life is class.
There's a few little things, alright. But you know when you get ideas and they just keep on coming and coming and coming,
just get overloaded.
But I have a great vision. So essentially, the launch night is going to be the play, the tracks, and then how I perform the tracks. I'm starting to think about now as well. So I have managed to find a dancer who's going to help me do choreographed dancing to some of the tracks as well.
Yes.
So I'm really going all out. I'm going all out, like it's Bubba.
That's exciting, man.
It's Bubba 2.0.
You must be so excited to just fucking have all this shit like going on, man.
I'm kind of anxious.
Yeah. You shouldn't be, man.
I'm excited some days and I'm anxious other days.
In what way?
I'm anxious because I just want to move forward.
You just want it to be done, like that kind of way.
No, not that. I'm still waiting for things to come.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm still waiting for backing tracks.
Yeah. Okay.
And that makes me anxious because I don't know if it'll come.
Yeah.
And I need it, you know.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
So that's where the anxiousness is. But I'm not in any way underconfident with my ability to put on a great show.
Yeah. Okay.
That's one thing. No matter what's been happening in my life, I've always felt comfortable with. You know, even when I was suicidal, I'd still go rock a stage.
Yeah.
You know,
100%. I'd be the same. I was the same.
And in a way, it's a saving grace. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, okay, I can still rock a stage. That's okay. You know, you got something positive to look for. Things, you know, that's all right. Like,
true.
You know what I mean? I was about to jump off a bridge yesterday, but I'm rocking a stage today.
I know. The fucking difference.
The inner turmoil.
People are weird, boy.
I was just looking at that river going, jump in, boy, go on, you can do it, boy. And then the voice said, don't even bother jumping in, boy. You're so bad at life, you won't even die. You'll just break your legs.
Jesus.
Go home and feel your feelings, you fool. I actually did a comedy bit about the thoughts that went through my mind when I was pondering.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God, it was heavy. You know, I actually halfway through it, I was like, "Listen, audience members, look, I'm not looking for you to feel pity or scared or anything. You can actually laugh because I think it's funny. I actually think it's funny. Like, I mean, at the time I was in pain.
Yeah.
But the funny came to me when I was there as well. So I said, don't worry, it was just a process I was looking at to understand it. That's all it is. So you can laugh. And then it changed and lightened up a little bit. And it's actually a difficult thing to write about in humor sense.
Yeah. It must be. It must be just because it's such a touchy subject, I suppose. And like,
I think
every fucking second person knows someone or
exactly. But the
is
whole
going through it themselves. Like,
but the reason that I wanted to do it was because if you speak on it and you share,
it makes it easier. Like,
and if you share your experience, and because I know that you feel like you're on your own and that no one else understands what you're going through. But if you went to a show and you heard someone speak openly about their own experience of it, and they're standing in front of you as this cool performer fiend, then you're like, well, if the cool performer fiend feels like that,
yeah,
and I feel like that, then it must be okay to feel like that.
So a lot of comedians, man, go through depression and shit. Like fucking Tommy Tiernan went through fucking serious depression. Like, so did fucking
Yeah, you could tell when he was doing
Lee
that.
Evans. Look at fucking Robin Williams. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
One of the funniest fuckers in the world ever. Like, even
Yeah.
Blind Boy always talks about fucking being anxious and.
But through those things comes great depth, by.
Exactly, man. Even fucking music, by. If you look at the likes of fucking Amy Winehouse, by, like fucking Kurt Cobain. I'm non-stop talking about Kurt Cobain in this fucking podcast. Yeah, by. Fucking, what's his name? Stuart Adamson, by, from Big Country. Did you ever hear of Big Country?
No.
Big Country are a Scottish band from the 80s. They were really fucking good. It was rock and roll, proper fucking sick shit. But yeah, man, Stuart Adamson, by, the singer, hung himself fucking a couple of years ago. I can't remember when.
Damn.
But yeah, by, it's mad, by. Fucking look out for people, by.
That's it, you know. And when you see someone is withdrawn, just give them a smile and
a hug.
And a hug. Exactly, by. I'll tell you, the one thing that helped me too, when I was in that, I felt like the universe wouldn't allow me to be depressed. You know?
Yeah.
I'd be walking through the street and I don't know how deep into it you've gotten yourself when you get into that really withdrawn thing and you can't even see the world around you.
Mm-hmm.
And you're so you're walking down the street and you don't even see who's about.
Nah, you're not even existing. You're not even there.
You just can't.
You're
even
just
tell.
you're just a body that's walking down the street.
Absolutely
There's
null
nothing inside. Like.
Yeah. It's such a heavy thing.
I know that feeling. What I've noticed about myself now, alright, is I can sometimes feel the sadness coming on before it starts. Do you know what I mean? Like, I could feel it building up in my stomach, and it's just like, it's there. I'm coming up, you fucking bastard.
I want to get you.
But then by just fucking starting to be like, no, lad, boy, what are you doing? No need to be sad today. You know what I mean? Relax, kid. You're sitting here with a mocha, reading Shakespeare. What are you doing? You're having a great time. Relax, bud. You might have only €4 in your pocket, but look,
that's
you can get the bus home. That's all you need.
I feel that, man.
Do you know what I mean?
I had the same conversations with myself, but it got to a point where I looked at myself one day. It'd been a few days since I had any food, right? And I was just there. I was down there.
Yeah.
And I thought,
in the pits.
I was like, what am I avoiding? Why is this here? Why do I allow such suffering to happen to me? Like, what am I doing to myself? Why? So I got up and I looked in the mirror and I was like, bro, I want to love you. I want to love you. I want to love you the way that I've loved any woman I've ever fallen in love with. I want to love you like that. Why can't we do this? I have to be there for you. Come on, like, this is where we are right now. We can't eat. We can't eat. We can't pay the rent. We can't offer anything to the world in this state. How can you look after somebody if you can't look after yourself?
Yeah.
What would you tell a friend to do in this situation? What would you do for a friend in this situation? those are the things you got to do for you.
Yeah.
And then
100%.
I kind of cried a little bit, and I was like,
That's beautiful, man.
I'm like, I'm sorry, Bubba, man. I have to look after you, boy.
That's beautiful.
I will look after you. I'm sorry, boy. We'll get through this, like.
I smile at myself in the mirror every morning before I go to work.
It works.
You know what I mean? Just give myself a cheeky smile, walk out that fucking door, and I'm ready to fucking scan those items.
Go on, kid. You scan them. Beep. Beep.
Don't beep.
Oh.
I prefer not to hear beeping noises when I'm out of work. But man, we've been talking for almost an hour now.
Decent, cuz.
Holy shit, I thought it was only like 20 minutes. Hereby, it was fucking lovely to have you on, man. We had a really nice, deep conversation there.
I enjoyed it, man.
Thanks for fucking opening up and just having the crack with me. Do you want to shout out your fucking Instagrams and Facebooks and Snapchats and
You can
dick
check
size?
Yeah. So massive. Tasty. You can check out my Instagram. It's Bubba Shakes. BUBBASHAKES. And that's pretty much all I'm on these days.
Yeah.
I'm on other stuff too, but you can check out that. I will be on Spotify, but not yet. And I'll be on YouTube as well, but not yet. I have a YouTube channel called The Lab TV if you want to check that out too.
Yeah, man, because you do this, but just like on video.
Yeah. So you can check that out. But Instagram is the main thing.
Yeah.
I'm aiming to become Insta famous, not because my ego desires fame, although it may also desire fame, which is totally fine, but because it's part of my soul mission to become a positive influence on the consciousness of the world. That's what I'd like to become. And I feel as though just the way the world is going, if I got Insta famous, it would help an awful lot.
Go on, Bubba.
Yeah.
Legend, boy. Thanks for coming on again.
No bother, bye.
Goodbye, boy.
Goodbye, kid.
We'll fucking chat again soon. We'll have you on again soon.
Yes.
Because there was loads of things we didn't talk about. Like we didn't talk about the Lab TV and the Lad TV.
The lad.
The Lab TV and shit. So we'll get into that in a future podcast. Alright?
Decent, cuz.
Alright. So lads, that was a little conversation I had with Bubba Shakespeare. Thank you very much if you've listened this much, because we talked for a good hour, and it was really cool. Shout out to Bubba, man. He's a fucking savage dude. Go see him if you can. He's always performing around places, like, and he's always doing the open mic and so is. You will never see a performer like him. He's fucking out of this world. Out of this world. So that's it really, lads. I said I'd read out a short story for you. I'm just trying to find it. Excuse me. I have no title for the name of this, for the story. It's just, I don't know. It's just a little funny thing that I wrote while I was smoking some nice stuff. I've never done this before now, so bear with me. As I sit here now in bed, legs stretched out and my back curved between the two feathery pillows that are crushed between my spine and the wooden headrest, dipping a golden Oreo into my wine-red cup of milk and reflecting on the day that had just went by. I woke up to a pounding on the left side of my head like there was a bunch of little David Guetta's obnoxiously playing sexy bitch in my brain. Rubbing my left eye to get the crust away, I look up to see the sun cracking each side of my unapologetically black blind. An opulent shade of yellow brightens up my dull black and yellow room. I got my mum to paint it that colour as a result of my weird obsession with Batman. Standing in the middle of the room, I rummaged through a pile of like new clean clothes my mum had washed the day before, looking for anything comfortable I can wear that won't irritate my legs from the trauma that is eczema. I find a jeans that fits perfectly, then throwing on the black and green t-shirt with a big white skull in the middle of it, and when it's in the dark it glows like the arc reactor on Iron Man's chest. Filling my pockets with everything I need for the day. Keys, wallet, coins, 2 lighters, a packet of Blue Rizla, and shit. It was that moment, lads, I remembered I need to go to the shop to get tobacco. Just as the front door of our bungalow opened, I'm instantly enchanted by the smell of morning. The cold air tingles my nose as I can feel it travel through me, almost freezing my lungs. I proceed to stroll through the estate, seeing houses of friends who I used to call to see if they were coming out. That's now it's lucky if we send a message once a month. In the distance, the hubcap, the local pub, the type of place where you'd catch your mother lap dancing against the pillar wearing a shorts with an arse on it that says Pog Mahone and a hat with the Irish flag colour pigtails coming down from each side, or your Uncle Dennis chopping up lines of Kirk Cobain in the bathroom with his friend Boogos laugh from work. I found myself standing outside the shop, my back against the wall, right leg bent, smoking the last rollie I could. I found myself standing outside the shop, my back against the wall, right leg bent, smoking the last rollie I could get from scraping the shit out of what I had left over from the previous pouch. Stepping inside, I noticed Myra behind the counter, staring at me with that hideous old woman scowl permanently engraved on her withering face. Wanting to make this encounter brief, I scanned the fridge in search of something tasty and found myself drawn towards a carton of chocolate milk for 50 cents. Banker, I thought. Upon leaving the shop, I contemplating what to do next. Head back home and bask in the wonders of a second-hand PlayStation 4 I bought off a fella from Ballinasloe for €150, or head into town with the intent of buying a book. Fuck it, I says to myself as I take a walk into town. Now about halfway down Dublin Hill I see the steeple of Farnreed Church. It takes me back to when I was a kid. The height of that fucker used to always intimidate me like a fear of heights from the opposite side. I continue to walk as I can feel the fear building up in my subconscious. As I hit Blackpool, alcohol from the surrounding pub starting me in a politely fashion, tempting yet nauseating. The smell of piss as I pass that small bit of river by Blackpool Church turns this nausea into overdrive. I say fuck this and progress from jogging to running full speed to get away from the putrid smell. Full belt down the watercourse road, passing out cars and leaping buses. Knocked the Deliveroo driver over at one stage and almost flattened the pigeon. I take a swift right turn on the N20. I end up sprinting at such a high speed that the wings of a human-sized wandering albatross savagely pierced out my shoulder blades, leaving pools of blood on the ground next to me. Passing out from the pain, I wake up while we're flying over the Christie Ring Bridge, past the Opera House. I'm in absolute fucking agony. Every flap of a wing was like your shoulder being on a butcher's hook and someone pulling your legs for the crack. Luckily the wings dropped me off outside Vibes and Scribes. The pain wearing off, I thought, what the fuck was that shit about? I walked to the counter, got my copy of Grey, then got the bus home. Shit there really.